Welcome, welcome, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm back for another reading in what I'm calling my cycle breaking series, where I'm doing shorter reads and seeing what messages are coming up. We are officially almost 24 hours into Virgo season as of this time of recording. It's 2:30 as I begin to record here in the UK, and the sun moved into Virgo yesterday at 3:56 p.m. UK time. And as we enter into Virgo, it's time to integrate. It's time to integrate all that we've learned in the previous 5-month cycles, beginning with Aries season. It's time to integrate all of the mental and the emotional lessons we've learned so we can go through the Virgo corridor into our next higher cycle. Okay? And for it to be materialized. That's what the Virgo energy does. So as such, when we meet at this point of the year in the calendar, it's always a time of simultaneous endings and beginnings, and depending on where you are on your journey, it's going to depend on what you're breaking out of. If you are these energies, you break out of them layer by layer, and in order to be fully effective in breaking a cycle, you must balance yourself on all planes. In other words, you must break yourself out of all the spiritual foundations and roots of the stories that have been materializing through you, through the mental and emotional planes, and making their way here on earth. And you must alchemize your own mind and your own heart so that you're no longer giving to narratives that don't match who you are and what it is that you desire to accomplish here on the earth planes. And in that journey, you must also become very aware of those beings who give to your cycles of deception, your cycles of smallness, which are often, karmic cycles, as opposed to those who help you rise into your divinity and truth. So all of us are going to be in different places right now, but we are all being given the grand opportunity to break cycles and to break monumental cycles right now, given where we are in ascension. So I'm going to go into the cards and see what comes up. I think I'm going to go into the Moonology Oracle. We'll begin there today, and we'll see what comes up. And then we'll go into the Tarot, and we'll break down some of these energies. So welcome, if you're visiting for the first time. My name is Solara, and I am a generational curse breaker, amongst many other things. But that's what I've spent my life on this planet doing, this lifetime. And it's been a long time coming for what's coming forth for me next. I was just writing about that on my Substack today. This is beautiful. This just flew out. I'm not taking it because I'm not ready, but we do have the full moon in Capricorn. The end of a tough cycle approaches, as well as the full moon in Libra. A win-win outcome is forecast, and at the bottom of the deck, a personal issue reaches resolution. Full moon in Cancer. My guidance is to take these cards. Okay, so I'm going to take them. I wasn't going to. I was going to keep on shuffling. I was going to keep on talking. But we will take them because we're going to explore what this actually means. It's a kind of a big message coming through because this is a message for someone who's breaking something very big. And the reason I know it's very big is because you're dealing here with all cardinal energies. You're dealing with Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. Capricorn and Cancer are the signs of the zodiac that align us with the solstice windows. Libra and Aries are the signs of the zodiac that align us with the equinox windows. So all points on the astrological wheel that are there to bring us into balance, to bring the personal and collective energies into balance, here to help you better align with your truth and your North Node, and here to ultimately help you to bring justice and to alchemize your fields when you enter into the solstice and equinox energies. Okay, and the solstice and equinox energies do it for us as individuals, like I said, but also collectively. Now, this is a really big energy coming through here, because what this is showing me is that whoever this message is for, you are breaking a cycle at the root. Cardinal is where all things begin. Okay, so this is cardinal air, cardinal earth, and cardinal water. We don't have cardinal fire, which is very interesting. That would be more of the spiritual story. But what we have coming out here with the cardinal air, your mental planes are coming into balance. That's the Libra energy. What kept you out of balance mentally has been alchemized, or is being alchemized through the cycle. What kept you out of balance materially is being alchemized, okay? Being balanced, okay? What kept you unable to properly birth balance into your life. Your waters are healed. Full moon in Cancer. This came out yesterday in one of the readings too. Interestingly, I pick it up and we have your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. Cancer season, Aries season, to a lesser extent Libra season and Capricorn season might be of significance for you. As I lifted up, step out of your comfort zone, North Node. Okay, so this is speaking of a balancing on all planes. Now, I said to you before that when you are a generational curse breaker, a cycle breaker, however you want to look at it, we all are. We all are given the opportunity and all have been given the opportunity through this ascension to break out of our own personal and karmic cycles and to break free from the ancestral ones that bound us in bloodlines and on the earth planes. We've all been given that chance. So really, technically, we're all generational curse breakers, or we all have the propensity to be able to. It's whether you're going to answer the call and follow through. That's what takes balls. Okay, I just turned 42 a few weeks ago, and my whole life, I just wrote about this on Substack this morning. My whole life I've lived in this invisible cage that I've been dismantling consciously over the past, I want to say, almost 2 decades. But that's how long it's taken me. And granted, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had no help. I had no resources to show me. I was kind of shooting in the dark and constantly dealing with the retaliation from these energies, cowering away because I didn't know how to break them or if I was meant to. It took me a while, right? It took me a while to see the pattern and to begin to break it. And once I began to see the pattern, then the hard work came of dismantling all those multiple layers that I'd been buried under within the construct of those spells, those patterns, those programs. And so I say all of that because, like I said before, when you are breaking a cycle, these energies, they come apart in layers. It's not like all of a sudden you light a candle and you're free. All of a sudden you say a prayer and you're free. It's not even like you can ask God to break you. That's not how it works. You must do the work to alchemize your own fields on all planes to come into balance spiritually, mentally, emotionally, first and foremost. So finally, materially, the true story of who you are can play out on the earth planes. As above, so below. The above is the spiritual, mental, and the emotional planes. The material planes, it's not even here for you to kind of mess with as much as you need to alchemize yourself on the other planes. Once you alchemize yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, the material must obey. The material planes must obey the above. Okay, so in the false matrix, we were taught to focus on shifting everything materially because they wanted us stuck. And so this is a message for somebody who has been alchemizing these energies, maybe like me, for years and decades. You've been removing layer by layer. You've been learning by trial and error. You've been doing the work of understanding and overstanding that you can't just be free on one plane. If you're going to really be free, you must be free on all. Okay, you must put an end to the spiritual foundation of the loop. You must reacclimate your mind to your divinity and your truth. You must know who you are. You must know who you are, your I am truth, your Aries energy, who and what you're crowned as, and then you must live now like you know who you are. And then lastly, you must adjust your heart to no longer hold on to the fear templates that would cause you to constantly resist your divinity, resist your greatness, resist your beauty, resist the love that wants to come forth. And that oftentimes is the hardest thing to alchemize. As you come from spirit through air, or from fire through air through water, right? So the spiritual planes are fire. The element of air matches you with the mental planes. The element of water matches you with the emotional planes. As you come from fire to air to water to earth, the energies get more dense and more constricted. So by the time you enter into water from air, the energies become condensed, and every time the energy condenses, it becomes more difficult to shift. And the way I explain this to people is, if I tell you an idea that all of a sudden expands your mind, or I give you a piece of information you didn't know before, it's easy for you to assimilate that information. It's easy for you to shift your mindset from what you believed before. That's not the difficult part. The difficult part is now shifting your heart. If your heart was set on believing something, it's your heart energy, your emotions, your waters that takes more time to shift, not your mind. It's easy to change the mind. They knew this in the false matrix too. Not as easy to tune the waters. So whoever this is for, you've tuned the waters. Okay, full moon in Cancer. This is also, because you're dealing with this Cancerian energy, this is also speaking 1441 on my clock. This is double temperance energy, Magician and the Emperor. This is foundations, a new foundation being established, a new foundation that is protected. A new foundation that is protected by the Divine Mother, a new foundation that is protected by your divinity and your truth and your magic. Okay, with this 1441 number, that's what's coming through. It's also 5-5. This means that a new cycle is being established in your fields right now. So be very aware of how you're alchemizing the situations that come forth, because like I was sharing with you yesterday, before things get, before there's a breakthrough, there's always a breakdown. There's tower moments that come to test you to see if you're ready to alchemize the emotions and the mindsets that want to drag you back into the previous cycle, versus rising above them and recognizing, understanding and overstanding that those emotions and those thoughts are very valid, but they're a part of your old reality, and they're coming up for you to witness and to let go, right? So just be very aware right now. So whoever this is for, you, Cancer season might have been very, very significant for you in the way that you were able to alchemize your emotions, your emotional fields. And when I say your emotions, I'm talking about all of those threads and pieces of history that had you so damaged that you were creating unconsciously from that pain. You were creating off of those trauma templates. Okay, so as you've alchemized, this deep wounding, you've gone deep into your emotional, how you feel. What you're doing right now is you are adjusting your mind. Okay, you're adjusting your mind, and what I mean when I say you're adjusting your mind is you are you're creating a new story, or you're being called to create a new story, a story in which you win, a story in which you balance and you alchemize these energies in the material, because it's time for you to do so, because you've done the work emotionally, and now you must be very conscious of how you're using your mind, because it's time for you, literally, you've healed your waters to birth balance, but you must be very aware of where you're allowing your mind to go right now. Okay, so I'm going to go into my Everyday Witch Tarot. This was a deck that was gifted to me by a beautiful viewer here on YouTube, and also a client and a friend. You know who you are if you're watching. I'm thinking about you today, sending you love as you break major cycles. For some of you also, speaking of this person that just came to my mind, and seeing this full moon and new moon in Capricorn, this is a new level that you're being taken into in terms of your career, if you want to look at it from that standpoint. For me, I see the Capricorn energy and the 10th house energy as being what it is you came here to do and to give to the world, what you came here to be known for. And it will always match who and what you're known for being cosmologically. It's you being able to 1441 44 in my clock. It's you being able to bring that finally onto the earth planes and to live in accordance with your true divine soul purpose on earth as it was already written in the heavens. Whoever this is for, you are breaking a cycle out of not being able to live in your purpose, not being able to, and even if you were living in your purpose, not being able to prosper in that place, not being able to find balance, constantly being taken out of balance, being stolen from. I wrote about this rather in the Sunrise Salutations, about how on this journey of warfare, how at so many junctures, anytime I made headway, a retaliation would come. The retaliation from the entities, the retaliation from those beings casting spells, the retaliations from those groups, covens, corporations, factions, however you want to look at it, that had a vested interest in keeping me down and keeping you down. There was retaliation, meaning you take 5 steps forward and then you'd be pushed back into a corner. And the whole point of that was to constantly discourage you so that you would cower in that corner and you would break and you would give up. And I did that many times. And every time I did that, it only made my situation worse. But it put me in a situation, it put me in a mindset where it made me more determined to fight. And so now when that retaliation comes, instead of being pushed in the corner, I take that energy and I push it in the corner. I reveal it, I expose it for what it is. You know what I mean? So this is the energy of someone who you've tried your best to stand in your truth, to stand in who it is you came here to be in the world, and you've been bullied for it. You've been pushed in corners. You've been silenced. You've been shadow banned, maybe. You've been overlooked. You've been purposely, things have been purposely done to you in order to discourage you. Things that were not fair, okay, with the full moon in Libra. Things that were not just, okay, things that were not energetically aligned because they probably had to do with energy harvesting tactics and dynamics in order to keep you down. Okay, so that is, we don't harp on about that to victimize or to re-victimize ourselves with that Cancer energy, and yet it's important to think about it and to go there, because that's what your initiation was. That's your training ground. All of that prepared you for this moment, because the truth of the matter is that the energies that allowed for that to happen to begin with were already piled up in your fields from lifetimes before. It needed to be activated, it needed to be shown, it needed to be shifted. And as it was shifting, you answered the call, you saw what was going on. Finally, even if it took you a moment, you saw, and now you have broken something magnanimous in your emotional field, and it could very much have to do with an ancestral entity. With this full moon in Cancer, full moon in Capricorn, it could very much have to do with an entity that had you subjected to being enslaved to a certain bloodline for many incarnations, for example. This whole idea in the false matrix of being in families because of blood is bullshit. Family is measured and derived by frequency, not blood. Okay, so and that's not to say that everyone's family is you're not in alignment with them. There are beings who, I'm sure, even for those of you who've come from abusive dynamics, there are some people who you had to walk away from in your family who you were kind of cool with, okay, but who couldn't get out themselves. But at the end of the day, on an energetic level, family is about frequency. It's not about blood. And many of you in your contracts coming into the earth were contracted to these families across timelines because of fuckery and spell work that was done to keep you energetically incarnating into their bloodline, because they needed you for whatever deals and contracts they originally had you drawn into. Okay? It's over. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Strength card. It's going to take you pushing past something right now. We'll get into what with the Strength card. Strength is, of course, the card of Leo. It's got very strong Libran connections also, because the number 8 card of the tarot is Strength. and in older decks, number 8 card is Libra. Libra and Leo work very closely together, energetically speaking. Leo is what liberates the heart so that the justice can come. You cannot get full liberation materially on the earth until your heart space, your emotional fields are liberated. Cancer helps you to see what it is you need liberation from. Leo shines the light so that you can have the bravery and the courage to actually do it. Virgo comes in and says, time out, guys. Let's do a recall from everything that's been happening from Aries season through to Leo season now. Let's see where we are in the mind. Let's see what Aries and Taurus helped you to alchemize, what Gemini gave you access to, the information now to what Gemini gave you the access to informationally so that you could take that mind expansion and make it real, right? Let's take a look at what Cancer season showed you, the steps you took through Leo season to be brave. Let's take it all now and integrate it and alchemize it so that by the time Libra season comes, you can start materializing a more balanced picture and profile for yourself on the material planes. Okay, that's what Virgo season is. This is why Virgo season is a very powerful time to break cycles. And Virgo, the only way you can break a cycle through Virgo energy is through radical honesty. Radical honesty with yourself about your own shortcomings, about your own weaknesses, about your own strengths, about your own flaws, about the way you get in your own way, about the way you are around people who don't have your best interest at heart. You must be radically honest in Virgo season if you want come Libra season to begin to alchemize justice in your fields. Okay, the devil is the overarching theme. Very interesting, because what are we having here? We've got the strength card. It's one last push. What are you pushing yourself out of? Well, it must be some kind of contract with the devil, but this isn't just a contract, because whoever this reading is for, I feel like what it is that you've done has already alchemized for the most part the contracts that kept you bound. This is more like the allure of the energy that wants to pull you back in. Okay, so in this particular deck, I don't know if you can see, there's a couple and they're sitting on a bench and they're just minding their own business, right? And there's a guy here offering he's offering the boy on the bench money, and he's offering the girl the ice cream. Okay, and then there are two cats here trying to get their attention, like, don't do it, don't be a fool, right? That's what the cats are doing. But what I'm really interested in also is that the devil is talking directly to the man. Okay, so in most stories we hear that he comes to talk to Eve, right, the girl, and she gives him the fruit. But in this depiction, he's talking to the man. Okay, and the girl is looking worried. She's not concerned. He has the ice cream for her too. He has her temptation, but she ain't even looking. She's just looking at the boy like, don't do this, dude. Don't do this. Remember what happened when I did? No, I'm joking. Anyway, she's like, don't do this, okay? And what this is speaking to me about very specifically is masculine energy right now. So, a very obvious way to break down this energy in the story would be very wary of, especially divine feminine, men who want to come and try to weasel you off your energy, which is a very big thing, right? But that's not really what I'm getting here. More than anything, I'm getting, be aware of the temptations of toxic masculine programming within yourself, whether you're a man, woman, non-binary, it doesn't matter. The toxic masculinity programming of the false matrix is that grind culture, it's that chasing culture, it's that stepping on anyone to get what you need culture, it's that overindulgence and focus on material wealth and growth. It is productivity centered. It is what kills the soul. It is what destroys the feminine intuition and the rest cycles and seasons that are necessary for true productivity and fruition. Okay, so be aware of any and this came up yesterday in a different way, but this is very focused right now on the masculine energy. Whoever this is, you need to be protecting your feminine energy, your feminine drive right now, because whatever temptation is trying to get you back into the cycle, or whatever quote unquote test you have to push past. It's going to have to do with your material wealth. It's going to have to do with your status. Remember, I said to you before, there's something here for some of you when it comes to do with career, right? Like you haven't been able to get out of these boxes that you were placed in purposely by the false matrix to live and prosper off of your purpose. And there's an opportunity for that to come forth now. But there's this energy that wants to kind of lure you into a trap where that beauty, that talent, it might seem as if the opportunity that is being presented is a lucrative one and a good one, but really it's another way to kind of bind you. Okay, and it's like that. This is also a hidden enemy energy. 1455, 555, you know, like how you get to the end of a cycle. The end of a cycle on the zodiac wheel is Pisces energy. It's the 12th house. And when you enter into the 12th house, all the hidden enemies come out. Libra is the house of the obvious enemies. Pisces is the house of the hidden enemies. And they're hidden because they move in this kind of energy. They move in this energy of being super compelling, super nice, trying to give you something in order to disarm you and to get you to think that there's something that they're not. Be aware of this energy at this point as you come to the close of this cycle. Let's go deeper into the cards. The challenge is the Seven of Cups. Don't think that because you have had a limited ride so far that means that you don't have options. You always have options. The Seven of Cups, you always have options. The world is literally your oyster. It will always come down to your perspective first and foremost, and your willingness to use your own mind to steer you onto a new path. Okay, so what do we have here in terms of energy? We have Leo energy, we have Capricorn energy, we have the Seven of Cups is Scorpio energy, 20 to 29 degrees energy. This is the challenge here also is like graduating from a certain level of shadow work, where you no longer are making a decision from a place of a lower estimation of yourself for the purpose of survival, for the purpose of money, for the purpose of whatever it is that somebody says they're going to give you on these planes, that you are more than capable of getting yourself on your own terms. Be aware of that, okay? What it is that you need to be paying more attention to, or you might not be seeing very clearly right now, the Eight of Swords. Okay, so this is Gemini energy. This is 0 to 9 degrees Gemini. This is where you need to recognize the ways that you're limiting yourself in your thinking, the ways you're limiting yourself in what is possible based upon the programming of the false matrix. So for example, we've been told that there's only a certain way to do things. That's not true. The only reason that there's only a certain way to do things is because we've bought the lie and we've created those programs for ourselves. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish, there is a way to do it. It may be completely unorthodox, it may be completely unconventional, it may be something that you have to do completely alone, it may mean that you have to shatter other people's cognitive dissonance in rising, but it's still something that's completely possible. But before you do that, you have to shatter your own. You have to shatter your own limitations in your own mind that tell you you can't do it because it hasn't yet been done. You have to do it because it hasn't yet been done, because you're the pioneer. This energy is coming out again. It was out yesterday too. So that's the Eight of Swords. Not for nothing, the Strength card is the number 8 major arcana. So this is something that you have to push through in your mind. There are still, in other words, and this is what I was saying also with this full moon in Libra energy, I was saying there has to be a focus right now on the way you're using your mind to materialize things, or the way you're using your mind in the material contracts now, because there is programming around money, around worth, around value, around career, around lack, that you're still being helped to dismantle right now. So be aware of that, okay? Be aware that there are, and this is deep programming that's going to require also some intense shadow work around what it is that you want divinely on a soul level, as opposed to what you've been programmed into thinking that you want or that you should have. Okay, be very aware. This is a very possessive energy, even if it doesn't appear to be so. It wants to possess you. It wants to possess your power. It wants to possess something you have. If this is a story that is familiar to you, be aware that this is something that's coming up once again to be deaded. Okay, as I lift up the Strength card, it's the Death card. Right below, we have the Page of Pentacles. So this is, again, speaking of material offers. Be very aware. 8 of Pentacles. She's stirring something up here. This is the first decan of Virgo season. Be aware of beings with ulterior motives who come to you pretending to be on your side, but there's something about the energy that doesn't feel right. You don't have to be in a situation anymore where you have to settle, even if it feels like you have to because of money, because of your career. You have more options than you're seeing. And the only reason the options aren't opening up is because you are limiting yourself and believing that they're not there. Okay? Guidance. The Emperor. You're the king of your castle, right? You're the one who is here to set the new foundation, not anyone else. In other words, it's time for you to create on your own terms. Don't let anyone bully you, not even subtly. Don't let anyone convince you to do something you don't want to do. It's time to create a new foundation. The Emperor is about creating foundations. Look, he's got like this blueprint right in front of him, and it's interesting because I think that kind of looks like constellations, right? So your foundations are already written and in the stars. You're already guided celestially. You need to tune into that energy and not be duped by anything or anyone on these material planes. That's what the devil is. The devil is those energies, those contracts, those obsessions, those addictions that we get so bound in materially that we forfeit the balance we have in other planes and therefore find ourselves bound here. So in other words, when you are too materially minded, you are willing to sacrifice your mental and your emotional peace for the material. You are willing to bind yourself spiritually for the material. And when you do that, you put yourself out of balance on all planes. It's time to put yourself back into balance on all planes. It's time for the material planes to now reflect all the work you've done balancing yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Okay? Alrighty. That's what I have for you. I hope that this was helpful and insightful for those of you who want to join me tomorrow, Saturday, August the 24th, for my group session. It's called Alchemizing Anger. Using your shadow as your protector, which is what your shadow is. Your shadow is your protector, or it's supposed to be. We will be meeting and convening and talking about that tomorrow, Saturday. I will put information for how you can join if you'd like to in the description box below. This is my second time hosting the group. I did it last week. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. A lot of progress was made, and I look forward to seeing I've some familiar faces tomorrow I know are already showing up, and I look forward to seeing some new faces hopefully too. If you'd like to support my work, then you can do so via my Ko-Fi or my PayPal, and I thank you for all the ways that you sow into me and my ability to do what it is I came here to do for the collective at this time. If you'd like to book me for a one-to-one soul recovery session, you can do so by emailing me solaraspeaks@proton.me, or you can do so through my website, solara.info. What else? My 33% off special on Substack continues for another month until September the 22nd. You can join me for an annual or a monthly subscription right now for 33% off the regular price. That price will stay locked in if you choose to do a monthly subscription for the next year, and it will stay locked in if you choose an annual subscription for good. Okay, so on Substack, I write and I post every single day, 5 days a week. I do what I call my sunrise salutation, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where I rise and I write. based upon the downloads, my own experiences with the energy, how I'm reading it. It's all energetically based. Looking at the signs, the planets, all that information that wants to come through is in my Sunrise Salutations. Daily Alchemy I've been sharing here on my community board, and will do so until the end of the year, but that is actually also for my Substack crew. And then I also do a Throwback Thursday on a Thursday and a Word for Your Week on a Tuesday, where we get into the energies for the week. I do a reading for that, either via audio and video. All of my Sunrise Salutation articles are also in audio format as well as written. And then once a month, those of you who join me on Substack are eligible to come for the monthly group Q&A. So that's happening this Sunday also. I look forward to seeing some of you from my Substack crew on Sunday too. So if that's something that you feel would help you on your ascension journey, having that kind of access to that information, I invite you to head on over to Substack. I'll put the information in the description box below and join me over there. Okay, so I think that's it. I will see you guys again soon. Until next time, be well.